All right, so today I will be doing law of sines. I'm gonna do an application problem of the law of sines. Fire Tower Alice and Fire Tower Bravo are located 10 miles apart. All right, so Alice spots the fire at 42 degrees. Bravo spots the fire at 64 degrees. So how far is Alice from the fire? All right, so to get this problem correct, your best friend or your best way to get to this answer would be to label everything properly. I like to use A, B, and C, or I like to use my variables to shorten it up. So I've shortened up my original diagram to include my variables. I use A for Alice, B for Bravo, F for fire. I also added in my lowercase letters. So across from the capital A is a lowercase a, and across from the capital B is a lowercase b. And lowercase b is what we're trying to find. We're trying to find the distance from A to F. Even though we don't have to use all three ratios, the best habit to form is to set up all three ratios. So now I have sine A, sine B, and sine F. So now that I have my sine functions set up, I need to get their denominators, which happens to be their opposite sides. So opposite of sine A will be a lowercase a, opposite of sine B will be a lowercase b, and opposite of sine F will be a 10. So once you set up all three ratios, it should look similar to this. Only thing we have to do now is fill in all the rest of the information from the diagram. All right, so this is what it looks like once I plug in all of my values that I was able to find. Now, there's one that I put on there that you didn't see me work out, and that's the 74 degrees. If you think about it, remember you had two other angles, 42 and 64. I need 74 more degrees to complete 180 degrees for my triangle. So that's where that came from. I figured we pretty much knew how to do it, so I didn't show that step. All right, so since we're trying to find the lowercase b, I have to use these two ratios to figure out my side b. All right, so what I did was I took those two ratios, and as you can see by the arrows, I did what we call cross multiplication. That term is not really a technical term where you'll find a definition in the glossary, but that is something that's commonly used for ratios that are set equal to each other. All right, so by dividing by sine 74 degrees on both sides, and now I have b is equal to 10 times sine 64 divided by sine 74. At this point, you'll use a graphing calculator or a scientific calculator to get your decimal value. All right, so I punched that into the calculator, 10 sine 64 divided by sine 74, and we're talking about 9.35. So there's my diagram. Alice, Fire Tower Alice, is about 9.35 miles away from the fire.